Okay, so now we're moving on to chapter 49, Illusion of Separateness. We're not separate, right? We are not separate from anything or anyone else. We are connected to all of it, the entire universe, and our perception of the universe is coming from how we understand ourselves and the world that we're in. So, this is where, when I talk about influence, when I talk about living under the influence, it's you have ideas about the world, um, and it responds, like that's all separateness, that's all not you. Um, we just talked about the more you know in chapter 48, this idea that you acquire knowledge. So when you acquire knowledge about the world, what you're doing is you're believing you're separate because you're acquiring knowledge. I need to know about that. I need to know the way to respond to that. It's like, well, if that is you, if that experience that you're having that you believe is separate from you is actually you, then you don't have to know anything about it. You can interact with it just as you interact with your skin. Or just, like earlier this morning, I had a splinter and I, cut open my skin and pulled it out. And because I couldn't get it out like by squeezing it, so I tried some things and it's like, and I don't have to have a plan. I can just be like, oh, this hurts, I'm going to change it, and oh, this hurts, I'm going to adjust to it. I'm going to do what I need to do to respond to this because it's my experience. And I'm creating my perception of it. I'm actually creating the physical thing of it. I'm manifesting this, for those of you who are into the, you know, power of manifestation and all that kind of stuff. All right, so 49, illusion of separateness. The master has freed herself from separateness. She opens herself to receive from all beings. When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. When she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains. Why should she change for the manifestation? She knows the manifestation is an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only one. So here's the thing. If you look out at the world and say, there is evil out there, well, there is evil here, right? Now, it's important for us to be able to respond to that and be like, where is evil in my life, right? Where do I pursue evil? Where do I create evil? Where, we have to be able to look at that, because if I looked out at the world and said there is evil there, then I am perceiving evil. This perception has to do with me because I'm perceiving it in my mind. It's not actually anything that's happening around me. And so if news and other people try and influence you into believing one thing is evil over another thing which is good, right? You have to be smart enough to realize that they want you under their influence. And they want you under their influence for whatever reason, they might be moral or good people or whatever, but they want you under their influence for whatever reason they have. And they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to try and persuade you into responding to certain things in certain ways, right? When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. It's like, oh, there's the sincerity. When she encounters duplicity, her sincerity remains. Why? Because she doesn't see the duplicity. And if she were to see the duplicity, if she were to see the problems with the people that are addressing her, she would realize that those problems exist within her as well. And she would be sincere. And then when she got home, she would be like, I experienced this. Where in my life does that exist? Where am I perpetuating this? Because I'm creating it. Because because it's manifest in my life. Right? So law of attraction, folks, it's on you. If you don't like the war, change something in you and the war will change, because you will be perceiving it differently. And that doesn't mean you're going to start ignoring things, but there may be things that don't come into your field of awareness because that's not what you're aligned with. Other people could be creating it, but it's not part of your existence. And if they're creating it, well, that's theirs to work on, because there is no separateness. All of this that I perceive is me. You are me. Now, from your perception, I am you. And those two things are not interrelated, right? Like they're not the same thing. If you and I go out together, we are having completely different experiences, just because it may look like we're having the same experience. That's us compartmentalizing again. That's the more you know. That's that chapter 48 that we looked at. Right? But that's not what's happening. There is no separateness. It's all one thing. And it's all one thing. And we have to recognize that it's all one thing, right? Like, we have to recognize that I'm having this experience, and this experience is all, like, I am all of this, and you are all of this, and we are, and it's all one thing. My understanding of it is different. The way I perceive it is different. The way I perceive it is like, everywhere I look, there's separateness, right? I have a separate body, but that's an illusion. It's all an illusion. In the core of everything, it's all one. You're having a different experience than I'm having. That's an illusion of separateness. So when we get rid of all of the influence, when we get rid of all of the lessons, when we get rid of all of the experiences, when we get rid of all of the things, we are contributing to one thing. And so that's why I should be able to keep my sincerity, even though you might address me with duplicity. That's the way I can keep my goodness, even if I'm addressed with evil. I know that these are the things that need to happen so that consciousness can grow. You're having an experience, and I don't know what that experience is. I don't know if you're actually evil, but like, if other people are saying you're evil, whatever, like I don't want to be influenced by that. I want to be good and upstanding and be who I am. And then you can do that as well. And if that's if you're addressing that in your mind as evil, well, that's your work. Nothing I can do about that. Why should she change? Why should anybody change for the manifestation? She knows the manifestation is just an illusion of separateness. We're doing this together, and you're having an experience completely separate from my experience, and we're contributing to the one experience, to the one consciousness. And as we experience to the one consciousness, your experience and my experience as separate manifestations go into one thing. That's why I should be able to keep my goodness even though you have evil. These get real paradoxical, because it's like, one side, it's like there's only one thing, but we're having different experiences. Well, yes, in the manifestation, there's an illusion of separateness, but we're having experiences in the manifestation that will continue to contribute to the consciousness that we're all a part of, that one consciousness. So thank you so much once again for joining me for another chapter of the Tao Te Ching, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.